Brian K. Baker was born September 6, 1977, to Holly and Greg Baker in Springville, New York. Brian joined brother Greg, and soon to follow were Jesse, Jenny, and Michelle. In a house surrounded by cornfields, Brian was blessed to grow up in rural America. He loved to fish, play cards, and ride motorcycles, but what he loved the most was spending time with his family. He graduated from Springville Griffith Institute High School in 1996 and enlisted in the Army. Brian never complained, could always be counted on. He was quiet but had a sense of humor and a wonderful laugh. Brian met Amy and they married, and together they were expecting identical twin girls. Older brother Colton was awaiting their arrival. He was stationed at Fort Drum when deployed to Iraq on November 7, 2004. One day into his 9th year of service, while on patrol, a vehicle IED exploded near his patrol, killing him. He was 27. He never got to see his beautiful daughters, Cadence and Emily. Although his daughters have never met him, his wife Amy has made sure these amazing girls know who their father is, a hero that died for their future, so that it may be free for them to grow up in. His Command Sergeant Major Steve Greer said of Brian Baker, "Men like Brian are the reason why this country is still free. We owe him. I was proud to have served with this fine warrior." Brian was the most wonderful husband, loving son, outstanding father, and was a great soldier who was proud to serve his country. This was found on the web. To Brian's family, I was surfing the web when I decided to look for soldiers that I knew in the past. One of them was Baker, as we call him in the company. I typed his full name in one of the sites in the web, and when his name popped up, I immediately clicked on it, not knowing that he was killed in action. There were no words to describe how I felt at that moment. All I know was it made me very angry. Sir, ma'am, I knew Brian from when he was still a private. I witnessed him move up in ranks, and until one day he left our old unit in Hawaii. Brian was one of the nicest persons I've ever met. I remember when we did an 18-mile foot march in Kakuka. The platoon I was marching with was on point, and Brian's platoon was in the middle of the formation. After we reached the 12-mile mark, my body just couldn't go on anymore. I suppose my small build had something to do with it, so I started falling out of formation. Soldiers started passing me, with some of them making bad remarks of how weak I was, and some of them giving me the encouragement that I could do it. But Brian was different from all of them, because Brian helped me and took most of the load that I was humping. During the march, he kept offering me his own personal canteen, telling me that I should hydrate, and so I did, which gave me little strength, enough to catch up with my platoon. I told him I think I'm fine now, and so he handed me the equipment that he carried for me. And that's when I noticed that, judging by the way he walked and the bulk of his rucksack together with the machine gun, plus accessories hanging from the load-bearing vest, I noticed that he was carrying more than my own body weight. I felt shame to myself and could only admire the action of your son, husband, brother, that he performed. I caught up with my platoon and pushed myself to finish the rest of the hike with them, thinking that if I fall behind again, Brian would kill himself to carry my load, just so I could make it to the finish. I am an immigrant to this country, and to my point of view, this place wouldn't be called the United States of America if not for people like him. What I don't understand is why such a thing had happened to people like him. My deepest condolences for your loss. To Brian, I will never forget you, man, especially the way you laugh and the sound of your laughter. Neil Montesines of Salinas, California. Brian Baker's son Colton will graduate this year from Lehigh University. He has his eye on becoming a pararescue jumper in the Air Force Special Forces. Brian's daughters, Cadence and Emily, start 8th grade this year. Horseback riding, playing basketball, and on the swim team. They both love drawing. His nieces and nephews want to be great, just like Uncle Brian. Specialist Brian K. Baker, American hero.